Most Kenyans do not know exactly how the Kalenjin community were removed from ODM, the very powerful ODM party going into the 2007 elections. Now, the truth is, the country's intelligence service was fully involved in that operation. Okay? It was fully involved in the operation of dismantling ODM completely and leaving it as a mere shell of its previous self. Now, I can hear you asking, where's the evidence? Fine, I'll give you some very compelling evidence. Now, in a few leaked papers, WikiLeaks papers, we discovered that the director of intelligence, the intelligence boss at that time, Michael Gishangi, had gotten a new name from the diplomatic community and politicians. You know what his nickname was? PNU activist. Why did he get that nickname? Because it was quickly recognized that the head of the intelligence was single-mindedly on one mission and one mission alone. Yeah, and that mission was to dismantle the powerful ODM. Yeah, and especially to remove the Kalenjin community completely away from ODM, and to ensure that they would never again, have a political union with one Raila Odinga. Yeah, that's what earned Gishangi that nickname, PNU activist. Now it is very clear that the exit strategy of Uhuru Kenyatta from power cannot work with the Ruto presidency. Yeah, and one of the few ways it can work is by having an alliance with Raila Odinga, and that is why the government will defend the union with Raila Odinga at all costs. Okay. In other words, we can safely say that Uhuru Kenyatta needs the handshake with Raila much more than Raila needs it. Why? Because his peaceful retirement when he leaves power depends on it. A peaceful retirement for President Uhuru Kenyatta relies very heavily on a Raila Odinga presidency or a presidency of a Raila Odinga crony. Yeah, that's really what it is. Make no mistake about it. It may not look very obvious, but as I make this recording, Raila Odinga is one of the most powerful people in the Republic of Kenya. And going forward, he is going to get even more and more powerful. However, I have a very strong feeling, that this very neat plan, whose main aim is to protect President Uhuru Kenyatta and his retirement, is going to fail. Yeah, and why is it going to fail? It's going to fail because things have changed politically in Kenya a lot. I think Miguna is going to continue to surprise many. Yeah, and all that is going to happen is not going to be because of Miguna. It's going to be because he is at the right place at the right time. Yeah, the long-suffering people of Kenya have just had enough. Yeah, they have just reached the end. I may be wrong, but I do not think it will be possible anymore to put voters into your own predetermined compartments, tribal compartments. Yeah, that this community and that community must vote for so and so because there's a pact between this community and that community. I believe that one has come to an end in Kenya. And that is why I strongly believe that this exit strategy, very carefully thought out, of Uhuru Kenyatta, is not going to work. It will fall flat on its face. I believe it's going to be very difficult to make the call for electoral justice to go away. Yeah, Kenyans are not ready to let go. That should be very obvious. And so it makes sense strategically what the government will have to do will be to deal with this monster called electoral injustice, and to deal very firmly with those who are trying to push that agenda, even if it means assassination. And that is why, in my view, I believe we're headed to some very, very dangerous times. Very dangerous. Where anything can happen. Anything terrible can happen. Yeah. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I've just described the scenario the way it is. Yeah, and if you sit down and really think about it, you'll realize that I'm right. Because on one side, we have very powerful people with full state resources behind them who want to get rid of any talk about electoral justice. Okay. On the other hand, we have the very powerful people of Kenya, more and more of them coming to the bandwagon every day, saying that we shall not move on until we deal with these electoral injustices in Kenya. Okay? Now, to resolve these two positions, there can only be a confrontation. And obviously that confrontation is going to be ugly. That's really the long and short of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.